he had mentioned that he thinks people view the presidential race like you're casting for a movie. Like if you were to choose a president that is better fit for this role, what that looks like. And it feels like that's the approach many people would take. And I felt like that was a really, really good picture to paint this, because as individuals, you hear people say, hey, does character matter? And it's like, yeah, absolutely. Like, you want to make sure your leaders have character and are upstanding. Like, let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it 100. Everyday individuals, we're truly leaning on the public persona and our perception. Our perception, meaning, right, if our perception usually is when we take in information to view a thing with our senses, to receive information. And so in order to perceive and that communication coming in, we've got to first understand our general perspective, right? Like, what lens are we looking through that tells me that what I'm perceiving is what it is, right? Am I seeing a thing for what it is? And that's the tricky thing, because even when I created Perspective 4 years ago in 2020, ironically enough, I think Joe Biden had just become president, and a lot was going on in 2020, as we all know. And I had a burden to create Perspective. And in the first episode of Perspective, I give this example where, in fifth grade, my parents had to give me an eye exam, because ultimately I was blinking my eyes. The views were blurry on the board, and I couldn't see the writings on the board and the chalkboard, the dry erase board in class. And so my parents got me an eye exam. I stopped trying to squint, because sometimes I would get the letters right and sometimes I would get the letters wrong. But then when I showed up to class with my glasses, I could see everything for what it was and no longer have to guess and make things out. And so, using that as a general backdrop, I submitted to every single listener in that very first episode of Perspective, could it be due to upbringing, due to backgrounds and experiences, due to trauma in our life, due to interactions with people, places, and things, cultural clashes, classism, racism, all the isms, right, that we deal with? Could it be that those are the very things we're up against, and our perspectives, our lens usually is partial, or it's very scratched, right, or it's it's skewed? It's because the lens we look through is based on our experiences, and what you perceive is not always the case, because a lot of us have heard that quote, your perception is your reality. And I argue that it's not your perception that is your reality. It's your perspective and the view that you have that is applied to what you perceive. And then that becomes what you either believe and are convinced is the reality, or it's not, right? So your ability to see things for what it is, can you see this presidential race for what it is? And it's a lot of murky water, let's be honest with you.